Imagine building a company from scratch, turning it into a billion-dollar empire, and becoming a celebrated entrepreneur overnight. Fortune, fame, and influence follow. You're the person everyone admires, a visionary in the business world. Now imagine that the pressure, paranoia, and unchecked ambition push that same person over the edge, transforming a visionary into a killer. Tonight, we dive into the shocking story of how a billionaire startup founder snapped and became a murderer. Entrepreneurship is often glorified. Endless hours, sleepless nights, and risk-taking are painted as necessary steps to success. But beneath the glossy headlines of funding rounds, acquisitions, and awards, there's a darker reality. The stress, ego, and isolation of running a massive company can take a psychological toll. This story is not about business failure. It's about a founder at the peak of their career, whose personal demons, unchecked power, and mounting paranoia culminated in tragedy. What began as ambition and vision ended in violence, leaving shockwaves through the business world and society at large. The rise of a visionary. The founder began with a simple idea, one that captured the attention of investors, consumers, and media alike. Early years were defined by relentless work ethic, creativity, and a knack for seeing opportunities where others saw none. Employees admired the drive, investors were impressed by the foresight, and the public celebrated the success story. Overnight, the founder became a symbol of innovation, ambition, and wealth. The company grew rapidly, attracting millions in funding, expanding globally, and redefining industries. But rapid success often comes with immense pressure. Expectations rise, scrutiny intensifies, and the stakes become life-altering. While the founder appeared confident and composed publicly, cracks were forming behind closed doors. The pressure builds. As the company grew, so did the stress. Investors demanded results, competitors launched aggressive campaigns, and internal politics created constant tension. The founder began working longer hours, sleeping less, and isolating from friends and family. Paranoia set in. The founder started seeing betrayal everywhere, in employees, board members, and even close confidants. Minor mistakes were interpreted as threats, criticism became attacks, and loyalty was constantly tested. The empire that once inspired admiration began to fuel anxiety, obsession, and suspicion. Mental health struggles intensified. The founder exhibited erratic behavior, mood swings, and violent temper outbursts. Employees whispered, rumors circulated, but the founder's public image remained untouchable, a brilliant innovator above suspicion. The trigger. Every breaking point has a trigger, and for this founder, it came in the form of perceived betrayal. Perhaps it was a whistleblower, a rival executive, or a failed business deal. Something or someone pushed. The founder passed reason. The line between professional conflict and personal vendetta blurred. What should have been addressed through legal or corporate channels escalated into obsession and revenge fantasies. The founder's mind, once laser-focused on growth and innovation, became consumed by fear, anger, and the desire to punish those perceived as threats. The crime unfolds. The act was sudden, shocking, and meticulously planned. Victims were targeted strategically, locations chosen to ensure control, and every detail accounted for to minimize detection. The founder leveraged resources, wealth, and insider knowledge to orchestrate the crime. The violence shocked the world. Victims were colleagues, rivals, or those close enough to challenge the founder's authority. Motives were entangled with power, control, and personal vendettas. The method of the crime revealed careful planning and chilling detachment, someone used to controlling markets, now attempting to control life and death. The investigation authorities were initially baffled. The founder's public image, resources, and influence complicated investigations. High-powered lawyers, security systems, and private networks slowed the early stages of law enforcement action. But forensic evidence, digital footprints, and witness accounts eventually began to paint a clear picture. Investigators pieced together movements, communications, and transactions, slowly unraveling the web of deception. The scale of the crime was unprecedented. combining financial sophistication with deadly intent. Psychological profile. Experts analyzing the case highlighted a dangerous combination: narcissism, extreme ambition, and unchecked power. Success had insulated the founder from criticism, while wealth enabled increasingly erratic behavior without consequence. Isolation and constant stress amplified paranoia. What was once innovation turned into obsession. Control over a company translated into a desire for absolute control over people, circumstances, and outcomes. The founder's psyche had warped under the pressures of success, creating the perfect storm for violence. The capture and trial. Eventually, the founder was apprehended, despite attempts to evade authorities through resources, influence, and strategic maneuvering. The trial captivated the public, media, and business world, revealing shocking details of both the founder's rise and fall. Court proceedings exposed not only the crime itself, but the psychological unraveling that led to it. Witnesses described a brilliant yet volatile individual whose obsession with control eclipsed empathy, morality, and law. The legal process became both a reckoning and a spectacle, as the business empire that once symbolized success crumbled in public view. Impact on the company and employees. The company, once valued at billions, faced unprecedented turmoil. Investors withdrew, employees were traumatized, and public trust collapsed. The case illustrated how the actions of a single individual, regardless of genius or wealth, can devastate entire organizations. Survivors struggled with fear, disillusionment, and a loss of confidence. Former colleagues reflected on warning signs, missed interventions, and moments when intervention could have prevented escalation. The story became a cautionary tale for corporate governance, leadership accountability, and mental health support at the highest levels. Media frenzy and public reaction. The story dominated headlines. Analysts dissected the founder's career, psychological trajectory, and the corporate culture that may have enabled the breakdown. Public fascination blended horror with curiosity. How could someone so admired descend into murder? Social media amplified every detail. People debated warning signs, ethics, and whether wealth and genius shield individuals from accountability until it was too late. The case became a broader conversation about power, ambition, and the thin line between brilliance and madness. Lessons for business and society. Several critical lessons emerge from this tragic story. Unchecked power can be dangerous. Authority without accountability creates conditions for abuse, obsession, and violence. Mental health is critical. Even the most successful individuals are vulnerable to psychological strain. Early intervention, therapy, and support can prevent tragic outcomes. Corporate oversight matters. Board structures, whistleblower protections, and corporate governance are essential to prevent crises fueled by individual instability. Success can mask warning signs. Charisma, wealth, and achievement often conceal dangerous traits until they manifest in extreme ways. Pressure can transform behavior. High stakes, constant scrutiny, and isolation can warp perception, ethics, and judgment, sometimes leading to irreversible actions. The legacy of the case. The founder's story serves as a cautionary tale for entrepreneurs, investors, and society at large. It demonstrates that brilliance and wealth are not shields against psychological collapse or moral failure. Law enforcement, corporate boards, and mental health experts have since used the case as a study in prevention. Leadership programs now emphasize empathy, self-awareness, and accountability as essential components of success. The narrative has become a benchmark for understanding how high-pressure environments can push even the most accomplished individuals into extreme behavior. Psychological aftermath. For survivors, victims, colleagues, and associates continue to grapple with trauma. Witnessing violence from someone trusted and admired has long-lasting psychological effects. Many survivors sought therapy, support groups, and guidance to process the betrayal, fear, and disillusionment that accompanied the crime. The corporate culture that once celebrated innovation now faced reflection. Boards, employees, and investors learned that ignoring warning signs, failing to address stress, and rewarding unchecked ambition can have catastrophic consequences. The rise and fall of this billion-dollar startup founder is a story of ambition, brilliance, and ultimately, human fragility. What began as inspiration ended in horror. It's a reminder that power, wealth, and genius do not exempt anyone from accountability or the consequences of their actions. In the end, the story serves as both a cautionary tale and a reflection on human psychology. Even those who seem unstoppable are vulnerable to the pressures of isolation, expectation, and unchecked ambition. Society, corporations, and individuals must recognize warning signs, provide support, and ensure accountability because sometimes the brightest stars can burn out in the darkest ways. The case of the billionaire startup founder who snapped and became a killer is not just a crime story, it's a lesson in human nature, power, and responsibility. It reminds us that success without balance, ambition without restraint, and genius without empathy can have tragic consequences. Remember this story when you celebrate innovation, admire leadership, or chase success. Because behind the headlines and wealth, there is always a human being flawed, vulnerable, and capable of extremes. And sometimes, the cost of ambition is far greater than anyone could imagine.